somewhere between 9/11 and the burqa ban, we lost the humanity of the women behind the headscarves. Muslim women became talking points, stripped of our identities and humanity. I'm not here to talk religion, and a few of you will be wiping your brow. I'm done with the age-old debates and the back and forth about scripture. I'll leave that one for the scholars. When you ask a woman why she wears the hijab, we tend to rely on scripture and statistics. We forget that there's this whole human being sitting in front of us, that these women have their own paths and journeys and spiritual stories, that their lives in all their glory cannot possibly be summarized by the label hijabi. The hijab and veiling of Muslim women has long been politicized and stigmatized. Yet, the reasons behind our intentions of covering up have been misunderstood, underrepresented and silenced, yet hypervisible and tokenized. This is the uncomfortable line we tread as modern Muslim women. I wish I could tell you that hijab was just a contentious talking point in non-Muslim communities. The truth is, being a Muslim woman and veiling in any sense becomes a challenge in all parts of society. In all niches and almost every culture, people obsess with the covering and the uncovering of feminine bodies. Muslim women? We face opposition and judgment at every turn. We're too covered to assimilate, yet too exposed to escape the judgment of fellow Muslims. Some Muslims have a problem with the way others choose to wear their hijab or weave modesty into their lifestyle. You're showing too much neck, your hair is showing, pants aren't modest, you're wearing too much makeup, are just some of the things my sisters and I hear on a day-to-day basis. They think it's improper that we use their label to describe ourselves. Muslims and non-Muslims alike don't consider me a valid hijabi, yet visibly Muslim enough to be subject to discrimination and Islamophobia. Muslims still say salam sister when they see me in the street. There's nothing new about this. This is the same fight that women of all cultures from all generations have been fighting for generations. It's just been repackaged. Identity politics in this regard has become increasingly divisive, where people feel they cannot identify with more than one label that's supposedly contradictory. You can't be religious and left-wing. You can't be veiled and feminist. You can't believe in a creator and have a scientific mind. I'm a woman of science. I spent a whole year researching something we call non-coding DNA. Parts of our DNA we thought were junk because they didn't make anything for ourselves. I feel the same way about the parts of myself that aren't tangible to you. My appearance is one thing you can label, but I'm a myriad of components that are so significant to developing who I am that you can't see or label. And they're just as valid parts of me. Now, I strongly believe that the true representation of a modern Muslim woman does not exist because we are not a monolith. We're not here to prove or disprove your assumptions, and we don't exist to break your stereotypes. So picture me, it's 2 a.m. and I'm getting ready to drop my sister to the airport. That's where you kind of know it goes downhill, Muslim woman in an airport. I'm fumbling around my room and I'm just throwing on anything I can grab, partly because of hijab, but partly, if not mainly, because it's about 3 degrees outside in the middle of July and it is freezing. And I'm Egyptian, so we don't do cold weather. We get to the airport and we weigh my sister's bags and we grab a cup of coffee because 3 a.m. Zena is just terrifying to the public, headscarf or not. And we get to the checkpoint and this man starts boring a hole in the side of my head. Here we go. Sorry, miss, you can't go through there. Please remove that. He points at my beret. I start explaining, oh, I know it doesn't look traditional, but you see, I'm wearing it for religious reasons. I just need a woman and another room and I can take it off. He raises an eyebrow. I continually nervously try to explain, and I stop. And I wonder why on earth I'm about to launch into hijab 101 with this security guard. He insists, "No, I know what that looks like. You don't look like one of them. Take it off." You can imagine how the rest of the transaction went. I didn't take it off, and I didn't make it through the gate. I had been discriminated against. Nothing new for a Muslim woman. But in a moment of great irony, it was because I didn't look enough like a Muslim woman. Damn you for not fitting into my stereotype. Ugh, it's so frustrating. But to be brutally honest with you, I wasn't wearing this at all last year. In fact, I wasn't living a modest lifestyle. I was doing nude photo shoots and bodyscape modelling. And that was just mere months ago. So if you had told me that next year I'd be on this stage talking to you about my headscarf, I would have laughed you out of the room. What people struggle here with is the dichotomy. But why must there be one? What happens when I become my own point of reference and allow myself that room to grow? The woman you see before you is quite different, yes, but I'm very much the same. My spirituality and my religion is just one part of the dynamic and painfully flawed human being that I am. I didn't put on this headscarf because I had it all figured out. I put it on as an act of self-exploration, allowing myself to experience who I was fully without worrying about other people. It signified a point in my life where I cared more about myself than other people's perceptions of me. My reasons for wearing the headscarf are too fluid and ever-changing for me to cement down in this short talk or in response to a question. My feelings about the veil are so complex, they're not even fully known to myself. And the emotional labor of picking up that question as to why I wear it is sometimes more than I have the energy for. My body is not a commodity. My body is not a political playground. It does not exist to break your stereotypes or placate your ideologies for you. Some people really want this vocal condemnation of my past actions, and I won't do it. I don't owe any human being that. It's part of my journey, part of what got me here today, and if that doesn't fit into your box of what a Muslim woman looks like, feel free to keep that box. I'm a little claustrophobic anyway. Part of living my truth as a modern Muslim woman has become modesty. And my embodiment of it is not the same as it is for any other Muslim woman, and nor should it have to be. But what is modesty? Is it the opposite of naked? Is it purely physicality? These were the questions I was asking myself on my journey. Some people want to see it as a progression from uncovered to covered. I choose to see it as a spectrum with inherent freedoms. I love people's expressions when they tell me I'm not wearing the headscarf properly, and I look them dead in the eye and I tell them that last year, I wasn't wearing it at all, much less any other clothing. Their shocked expressions are exactly why I am here. And I get it, I do. People want neat boxes, immoral versus moral, liberated versus religious, covered versus uncovered. My modesty is not my headscarf. It's the way I move my body through the world, my demeanor and my interactions. My modesty is putting aside my ego and my arrogance and humbling myself. So if this headscarf doesn't fit with your version of Islam, hubris and judgment does not fit with mine. I don't see modesty as an either-or. I don't see uncovered women as immoral or niqab-draped women as a height of piety. Modesty and empowerment of the modern woman is not black or white, and we have to confront these character values and morality judgments assigned to a woman's appearance. The issue, though, is so far beyond covering up. We have to address the elephant in the room, and that is Islamophobia. Rarely would you question a nun's habit, African head wraps, or the British royal family's strict dress code. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable to think about it, it should. The reasons behind this long stem from colonialism and the categorization of Middle Eastern cultures as primitive. We can never divorce our socio-political climate from the values we associate with these head coverings, past or present. To the core of it, why does anyone care how anyone else chooses to dress? Strip away religious influences, strip away classist factors, personal choice. It should be about respecting someone's right to self-determination and their bodily autonomy. And I'm not standing here in front of you today saying I'm this perfect human being without my biases and my judgments. I'm not saying I'm a role model. In fact, I like to say I'm an anti-role model. I am much too human and much too emotional to be representative of anything, trust me. I'm just another Muslim woman, walking my journey with Allah by my side and a whole lot of blisters on my feet. So, the question that some of you may want to ask, why does that woman wear the headscarf? And why does she wear it like that? The truth is, we don't have enough words in enough languages to tell you why. So, save us all the mental gymnastics and just go with it. Thank you.